That night I had no idea it was going to turn into something far more than just an ordinary evening. Leo's dad wanted him to go on his usual weekend business trip, but at the last minute I asked him to stay. A simple request, true, but deep down I knew there was a quiet storm brewing inside him. Maybe because it was brewing inside me too. The morning felt off. I was making coffee in the kitchen, barely making a sound. Leo was sitting at the table supposedly doing his homework, but it was clear he was miles away. Then suddenly I turned to him and said, "Leo, can you hand that coffee over?" My voice was softer than usual, like I was holding something back, but I made sure my eyes didn't give anything away. When he handed me the coffee, I held his hand a little longer than I should have. I looked at him as if I was waiting for him to read between the lines. We stood there in silence. I'm usually quiet, you know, but today something felt different. My gut never lies. You're not a child anymore. Leo the first started to choose my words carefully, so no secrets between us. All right, my words seemed to hit him. "Margot, what's going on? Why are you talking like this?" he asked, obviously thrown off. I gave him a slight smile, but it wasn't warm. "I was thinking about the space between us, Leo," I said quietly. "Every day you're getting older and it feels like there's something different between us. Something shifting." I could tell his heart was racing now. He probably felt the same confusion I was. "Margot, maybe you're just imagining things," he said, trying to laugh it off, but his smile was weak. I leaned in a little closer, lowering my voice. "But aren't you feeling it too, Leo? Can you feel it, Leo? Something's changing between us, isn't it?" I whispered, almost like a breeze, soft but damned effective. He didn't have an answer. I knew he didn't know how to explain it. "Things between us were starting to blur." "That's impossible, Margot," the finally said, breaking the silence. "You're my father's wife." I moved a little closer and put my hand on his shoulder. "Leo, we're not hurting anyone. No one else has to understand," I said. My voice was calm but serious. Calm but serious. I was unlocking something that had been hidden deep down inside. I could feel him getting more confused, and yes, I was too. Part of me knew this was messed up, but the other part, well, it was already gone. We just sat there for a while, both of us silent as hell, feeling the weight of it all. I reached over and touched the pillow next to him. "Leo, you know this isn't just a dream, right? This thing between us, it's real," I said, not breaking eye contact. He took a deep breath and turned his head, probably hoping that his thoughts would just stop for a second. Whatever this was between us, it felt wrong, impossible, but at the same time inevitable. "Margot, people won't understand," he muttered, shaking his head. I gave him a slow smile, my eyes fixed on him, not letting him look away. "People don't always have to understand, Leo. We just have to be honest with ourselves," I said, and this tension, this pull between us, was getting. I couldn't deny it. That night everything was shifting. The walls I'd built were gone. Things would never be the same. It was dark and rainy that night. Every drop of rain that hit the house felt like it was echoing the conflict inside me. I'd lit the fire and pretended to read a book, but I could feel his eyes on me every once in a while. With every step he took, my heart wanted to pull away, but damned if I didn't. "Stay here until the storm passes," I said, my voice calm but almost daring, as he sat down in the chair by the fire and silence fell over us. We looked away, but we both knew there was something hanging thick in the air between us. "Leo, do you know how much you love this house?" I asked suddenly, my eyes glowing with old memories. He looked away, but I caught the smile he was trying to hide. "Of course, Margot. I grew up here. I remember you sliding down the stairs every morning when your dad was having breakfast, and you'd just talk and then run up to your room, and neither of us wanted things to change, did we?" He nodded, but he couldn't hide from my eyes for a second. It was as if we'd gone back in time, reliving all those memories in this house. The more we talked, the more those buried feelings surfaced. "Sometimes I think we should have some kind of boundary between us, Leo," I said, "but then the thought of not seeing you again scares me." That's what hit him. I could see he looked at me, lost for words. We had both let our guard down, too exposed to take anything back. "Now I get it, Margot. Sometimes when I'm with you I don't know what to say, what to feel. But somehow I'm just glad to be here," he said, his voice barely more than a whisper. His words lit me up inside. The firelight made the shadows dance across my face, pulling these emotions out of me. Every time you're here, Leo, it all feels like it makes sense. Maybe this bond we have, it's deeper than we think, I murmured. We were silent again, no more words. We just sat there, weighed down by the whole pull between us. It was like this gravity neither of us could escape, even though we knew we probably should. As the rain stopped, I put my hand on his shoulder softly. I put my hand on his shoulder, gently lingering for a moment, just letting ourselves be in that space, our feelings hanging in the air. I tried to fight it, but with Leo next to me, those walls I'd built didn't stand a chance. As Leo's hand landed on my leg, this rush went through me like every feeling and mess we'd been holding back just came crashing out. In that second we lost our eyes, caught in that pull. Neither of us had the words for the only thing louder than the silence was my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Margot, he murmured, his voice rough and low. It's not like we're in control here, is it? My hand went over his and I could barely speak past the knot in my throat. Leo, you're my stepson, I said, but every word felt like it was tearing me apart inside. It's wrong, but here right now I feel so damn lost. My eyes stung, but I couldn't pull away. I saw the same confusion and pull in his face. Leo's fingers pressed a little harder against my leg. Margot, I won't lie, I don't want to stop this, he said, his voice breaking a little, but every time I try to fight it I end up right here back with you. A part of me wanted to let go, to pull away, but it was like his touch had glued me to the spot, caught on the edge of a line we both knew we shouldn't cross. I tried to push him back a little, but my body wouldn't move. Leo was losing me in this. I'm scared, I said, but I was right there leaning in closer. This isn't right, but somehow being here with you feels too damn real. I tried to look away, but I just couldn't. Whatever was between us, it blurred every line of logic I had left for a second, and it was like the whole world had shrunk down to just this room, just us. This heat I felt from him, the forbidden pull between us, made me sink deeper, even as every part of me screamed to stop.